Your family members abroad need to send you money.
Ria TV, True FM.
Say Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV,
into True FM 96.1.
what's the meaning of the black barrier?
The black barrier is to tell Joseph Walker if you don't organize yourself in a respectful manner, we'll take your later like
You might say what you want to say, but for us, we are here to make sure we build our country, that we are respected. We have donors that are coming because of the confidence.
Some news, summary of 12. My name is Hansen the represent. Welcome to News and Analysis 30 minutes of news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and our one world.
Presenting this newscast is proudly sponsored by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited. Good evening, welcome to Harasia News Bulletin at 7. My name is Mark Davis. In the headlines, President Joseph Boakai congratulates the government and people of the United States on the occasion marking the 248th independence anniversary of that country on July 4. Board of Directors of the National Public Health Institute of Liberia appoints Amos Bori as acting Director General of the Institute following the resignation of Jen Macaulay. The group under the banner concerned professionals in support of the establishment of War and Economic Crimes Code welcomes the appointment of Councillor Junita Masakwe as Executive Director of the Office of the War and Economic Crimes Code. And out of Liberia, Kenya President William Ruto says the country will have to borrow more to keep the government running following the rejection of a hugely unpopular finance bill that was going to raise more money in taxes, according to the BBC. Those are the headlines. Now the news in detail. President Joseph Boakai has sent a congratulatory message to the government and people of the United States of America on the occasion marking the 248th independence anniversary of that country on July 4, 2024. In the message to United States President Joseph Biden, President Joseph Boakai, on behalf of the government and people of Liberia and his own name, extended warm felicitation and sincere best wishes to President Biden and through him to the government and people of the United States as they commemorate this historic milestone. According to a foreign ministry release, the Liberian leader recalled that as the United States commemorates another milestone in its national existence, the historic bond of friendship and cooperation subsisting between the two countries and peoples will continue to be increasingly enhanced. President Boakai noted that as Liberia's closest traditional bilateral partner, Liberia will continue to engage positively with the United States to build on their strong existing bilateral framework, as well as to cooperate with the United States in a fight to achieve and sustain international peace and security. The foreign ministry release quotes the Liberian leader as wishing President Joe Biden's personal well-being and continued wisdom as he leads his people on the continuing reversible path to sustained peace, stability, and prosperity. The Board of Directors of the National Public Health Institute of Liberia, NPHIL, has appointed Amos Bori as acting Director General of the institution. The appointment follows the resignation of Jen Macaulay as Director General. Jen Macaulay resigned over the weekend, citing lack of cooperation from the board and the Minister of Health. In her letter to President Boakai, Madam Macaulay said the chairman of the NPHIL board and the Minister of Health tried to remove her from her role, thereby creating a toxic and hostile working environment for her. However, on Monday, the NPHIL board named Amos Bori as the acting Director General, replacing Madam Jan Macaulay. Bori is a Public Health Emergency Management Fellow from the United States Center for Disease Control and Prevention and an environmental public health specialist with over 20 years of experience in the health sector of Liberia. At the same time, the Board of Directors has also appointed Mohamed Kiadi as acting Deputy Director General for Administration, replacing Dr. Patrick Panya, whose tenure ends on July 1, 2024, while Dr. Julius Gelayine will continue as Acting Director General for Technical Services. A group under the banner Concerned Professionals in support of the establishment of War and Economic Crimes Code has welcomed the appointment of Councillor Jonathan Masakwe as Executive Director of the Office of the War and Economic Crimes Code. The group, in a press release, also recognized and appreciated the contributions of the international community, individuals, and groups who have endorsed Councillor Masakwe's preferment. Recently, President Joseph Boakai appointed Councillor Jonathan Masakwe as Executive Director of the Office of the War and Economic Crimes Code, a decision that has been criticized in some quarters, but the concerned professionals in support of the establishment of War and Economic Crimes Code believes that the appointment of Councillor Masakwe is timely and important to attain justice for victims of the country's 14 years of civil war and to bring to closure the culture of impunity in Liberia. According to the group, these victims were mainly women and children who were sexually abused, tortured, and suffered severe human rights violations. The group named numerous professional legal roles Councillor Masakwe has played over the last 15 years while in his private practice defending human rights both locally and internationally. They said he defended and freed child rights advocate Abraham Keita at the Monrovia City Court when a formal complaint was filed before the court by a former Grand Jeda County District 2 representative, Marias Willie, when the former lawmaker accused the child rights advocate of organizing a protest at the Capitol building against him. The councillor also served the Supreme Court of Liberia as amicus curiae to write two amicus briefs on the professional and ethical breaches of a judge and councillor of the High Court. He also provided adequate legal representation in several high-profile cases, including at the Liberia Petroleum Refinery Company (LPRC), amongst others. The Painesville City Corporation says it has begun the full implementation of the no selling policy at the ELWA Junction in Painesville. According to PCC Communications Director Jeremiah Dijan, the exercise, which began effective July 1, 2024, followed the end of the 3-month grace period that was given the marketers to leave the main ELWA Junction roundabout. Dijan noted that the PCC has identified areas including ELBC Market to the roundabout, the township of Congotown to the roundabout, Samuel Kado Sports Complex to the junction, and Hope for Women Clinic Junction at the AB Tower Road as earmarked area for no selling. Speaking to reporters on Monday, Dijan said the Painesville City Corporation believes that to realize a clean and green city, it requires the collective efforts of all citizenry. President Joseph Boakai says to achieve the irreversible socio-economic transformation, Africa must embrace the spirit of unity. President Boakai noted that the African continent has the potential to be a global leader if Africans harness their resources effectively and collectively. The Liberian leader, addressing the commencement of the Regional Maritime University in Accra, Ghana, said Africa's unity is crucial for realizing its potential and urged all Africans to enforce this union by giving increased support to the Regional Maritime University. President Boakai said Liberia is currently the world's largest ship registry by gross tonnage, highlighting the critical importance of maritime education to the country. The president said he has instructed the Liberia Maritime Training Institute to increase the number of students sent to the RMU in the coming years, reflecting Liberia's maritime legacy and a commitment to maintaining its prominent position in the global maritime industry. At the same time, President Boakai has pledged that the Liberian government will construct a dormitory facility at the Regional Maritime University in Ghana. You are listening to a bulletin of news from the News and Current Affairs Department here at the Renaissance Communications Incorporated. In more news, the bishop of the United Methodist Church in Liberia was over the weekend chased and booed by members of the Gompa district of the United Methodist Church in Liberia. And the pastors, the lay leaders of the Gompa district of the United Methodist Church staged the protest against Bishop Samuel Choir over reports that the church is trying to endorse same-sex marriage. The members, who were seen chanting slogans, maintained that they will not allow such law to be endorsed and supported by the United Methodist Church in Liberia. They said that news is a serious setback as it has the tendency to cause disunity in the church in line with the doctrine of God's words and principles. According to their protest, some senior members of the United Methodist Church also threatened unspecified actions if Bishop Samuel Choir fails to call for a special section to determine the position of the church concerning same-sex marriage. The immigration chief of Sierra Leone, Conan Alucin Conan, has emphasized the importance of obtaining national and West African biometric identification cards to enhance regional integration. He said these cards will improve security, reduce fraud, and facilitate free movement within the West African sub-region. Conan Cannon made the remarks during the keynote speech at the graduation ceremony of over 180 in-service officers trained by the Liberia Immigration Service in Bangabong County. In a special remarks, Immigration Commissioner General Attorney Steve Zago stressed the importance of empowering the security sector through training and increased budgetary support. Foreign Minister Sarah Besleyanti says Liberia is emerging as a beacon of hope for democracy in the volatile West African region, which has been plagued by military coups, collapsing democracies, and the spread of Islamic insurgencies. She emphasized this during an interview with the Voice of America's Nightline Africa, highlighting efforts by President Joseph Boakai to assure international partners and the business community of Liberia's stability and readiness for investment. Minister Besloyanti underscored the government's strong commitment to democratic values, good governance, and transparency. The foreign minister detailed plans to enhance the domestic economy, thereby improving Liberia's political landscape and international reputation. And out of Liberia, Kenyan President William Ruto says the country will have to borrow more to keep the government running following the rejection of a hugely unpopular finance bill that was going to raise more money in taxes. The president said he will withdraw the bill containing controversial tax hikes last Wednesday after a deadly protest which saw parliament set on fire. But on Sunday, he said dropping the bill has set the country back 2 years, as he explained the difficulty of being unable to raise extra taxes while facing a huge debt burden. He said this meant Kenya will have to borrow 1 trillion shillings or $7.6 billion just to be able to run the government. This is a 76% increase on what had been planned. But he also said he was considering cuts in spending across government, including in his own office, as well as reducing allocations to the judiciary and the county government. Many protesters objected to the tax rises by saying that the extra money will be wasted. To end this news bulletin, a recap of the headlines. President Joseph Boakai congratulates the government and people of the United States of America on the occasion of marking the country's 248th independence anniversary. The Board of Directors of the National Public Health Institute of Liberia, NPHIL, appoints Amos Bori as Acting Director General following the resignation of Madam Jen Macaulay. A group under the banner Concerned Professionals in support of the establishment of War and Economic Crimes Code welcomes the appointment of Councillor Jonathan Masakwe as Executive Director of the Office of the War and Economic Crimes Code in Liberia, described the President's decision as timely and important. And of the home front, Kenyan President William Ruto says The country will have to borrow more to keep the government running following the rejection of a hugely unpopular finance bill that was meant to raise more money in taxes, according to the BBC. RCR News Bulletin at 7. My name is Marka Davis.
Ria TV, True FM.
Say Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV.
Into Truth FM 96.1.
What's the meaning of the black barrel?
The black barrel is to tell Joseph Bakala, if you don't organize yourself in a grateful manner, we'll take your better life.
You might say what you want to say, but for us, we are here to make sure we build our country, that we are respected. We have donors that are coming because of the confidence.
Some news summary of 12. My name is Hansen the Represent. Welcome to News and Analysis 30 minutes of news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and our one world.
Presenting this newscast is proudly sponsored by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited.
How is life after the presidency?
But before the presidency, the same life, that's what you see. I live a different life. You know, when I was not president, this life, that's what I live, you know, with my family and
I have a lot of interest in the health sector, the educational sector, and the agriculture sector. Roads, connecting roads and stuff.
Yeah, we are calling international community to come to intervene for us because, like I just stated previously, we don't know who to trust.
Always make sure to turn on to our
Ria TV and listening to Truth FM 96.1.